Agenda 21 is a social engineering plan that imposes centralized control over the people under the guise of environmentalism by attacking private property, limiting energy use, regulating the food supply, using genetically modified foods, eugenics, depopulation, stockpiling and concentrating people into ghettos. It's like a shitty totalitarian one world communism. And there's some fools, either they're fools or misinformation agents, that are associating veganism with Agenda 21 and the depopulation plan, which is just pornographically stupid.
Like, what kind of stuff are they doing and saying?
It's like the nicknaming veganism like the New World Order diet. Because if you want to kill people off, then you're going to force feed them healthy plant foods. You're going to create a deadly concoction of apples and peaches and mangoes and fresh herbs and potatoes, peas and beans and seeds, dried sea vegetables, mushrooms, tomatoes, vegan nut butters. What else is deadly?
Where are they getting this logic? I don't get it.
Rice, pasta, tortillas, maple syrup. That's gonna hurt. They'll be dropping like flies after that. They might even force them just to finish them off, is to like have them omit the Parmesan cheese in their fresh basil pesto. That's just gonna clinch it.
You and your pesto obsession.
I love pesto. We should get some later. Make some.
I like it. I don't love it.
Just because certain facets of the UN are urging for a reduction in meat and dairy consumption doesn't mean that they're cooperating with the vegan movement. If anything, they're actually undermining it. They're actually burdening it by merging it with their oppressive agenda. They're actually just riding the coattails of the growing vegan movement, which is getting big enough now that it's actually threatening the status quo. So what they want to do is they have no choice now. They have to bring it into the fold. They have to absorb it, subvert it, and accommodate it into their game plan.
Now, what I'm finding out is that a lot of people who go vegan for a long period of time start to, they feel good at first, but then they start to deteriorate over the years.
This guy is Jim Morris. He has been bodybuilding for close to half a decade, and he shows no signs of slowing down. Now, he was a former Mr. America. Get this, at the age of 72, he works out every single day for an hour, 6 days a week. And here's his diet: nuts, beans, fruits, and vegetables.
Annette Larkins shows off her garden in her Miami-Dade County backyard. It's full of fruits and vegetables. Every corner of her garden has something that is edible.
And I've been eating them, and they're so good.
She also collects rainwater to drink and water her plants. Annette says the food in her garden is her fountain of youth.
I'm very vibrant. I have lots of energy, as I told you before. I'm up at no later than 5:30 in the morning as a rule, and I'm ready to go.
So how old is this size 4 beauty? Annette just turned 70 years old.
So how long have you now been eating a raw meat ketogenic diet, as you would call it?
2 years. Even though I don't eat a ketogenic diet always, I also eat fruit and stuff and honey. But the raw meat is easy. Here I have some sheep ribs.
Oh, there you go. So you just chow down right off the bone, right?
Yeah, it's fun to eat it also.
Annette's husband owned a meat store in the 1960s. That's when she became a vegetarian. But as the years went by, she became a raw vegan. She does not eat any animal products. Her food is unprocessed and uncooked.
My diet consists of fruits, nuts, vegetables, and seeds. I do a lot of sprouting of seeds, and as you can see from my garden, of course, these are the raw foods that I eat.
Annette's husband of almost 54 years chose to continue to eat the way he did when they were first married.
I really wish I would have did what she's done.
Amos Larkin says people even wonder if Annette is his wife.
They'll ask me, what am I doing with their young girl? Or they'll say, you got your granddaughter with you, you know, and things like that, you know.
Amos takes prescription medicines daily for high blood pressure and diabetes. Annette says she doesn't even take an aspirin.
Now, what I'm finding out is that a lot of people who go vegan for a long period of time start to they feel good at first, but then they start to deteriorate over the years.
This one lady who is my age, she said, was telling her friend that I used to tell them about eating and they wouldn't listen. And her reply was to that, or her response to that was, look at her now and look at us.
Unbelievable. A Ramona woman is named the sexiest vegetarian, but she's over 50, and I still cannot get over the fact of how old you are, because you look absolutely incredible. Mimi Kirk joins us with secrets on how you can stay young. Bring the camera, it's high definition. You at home, okay, this is Mimi. Mimi, take a guess, 1 second at home. How old do you think Mimi is? Okay, Mimi, tell us how old you are.
I'll be 71 this month.
Whatever. Are you serious?
Right. And everyone always asks me if I've had plastic surgery or Botox. No, I still have all my laugh lines. I have nothing.
You look incredible.
Thank you.
And you can actually eat away your own muscle tissue and in your fat storage to where you're down to weighing next to nothing. So, what was your lowest weight you got down to?
Well, after the fasting, I was 43 kilograms, which is like half my normal weight. So basically just bones. I don't know how much it in pounds. It's like 95 pounds, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty light. Okay.
Yeah, I think something like that. But when I was vegan, even when I was eating a lot, I was still really thin and weak. And it happened quickly. Like within 1 or 2 months, I couldn't work out anymore because I was going to the gym at the time. I couldn't really do anything. All of the motivation was just gone, and I was eating a lot and just tons of nuts and whatever, vegetables, salads and shit.
Actually, the most recent record I've set, world record, is the record for the heaviest weight ever carried by a human being. So it's called the yoke walk. It's a strongman event. And I have carried 555 kilos over a course of 10 meters. Yeah, and that's the most recent one.
That's amazing. Now, you're also known as the vegan badass.
At the Extreme Couture Gym, we found an extraordinary plant-based athlete, Ultimate Fighter champion Mac Danzig. In the mixed martial arts world, strength, toughness, and endurance are of paramount importance, and Mac has them all.
I think a lot of people, stereotypically speaking, think someone that's a vegan is like some skinny hippie type of person. And I'm not necessarily trying to break the stereotype. I tried the diet for my own personal reasons, and it worked for me. I feel like I have more energy now that I don't eat the meat products, and I also feel like I recover better in between my workouts.
I'm dying to know, how did you stay looking so young on the outside?
Well, I believe in animal protection, so I'm a vegetarian, actually a vegan. I don't eat any animal products. I don't like the inhumane treatment, and I think a lot of the food today is antibiotics and steroids, and I don't mind getting older. I just want to be healthy. I love to travel. I have a young boyfriend. I want to feel good. So I have a big green drink every morning. I think everybody should do that.
What's in it?
Well, I put vegetables in it. I put like celery and cucumber, which is good for your skin. I put lots of spinach in. And then I add fruit like apples or pineapple, anything you like that's live food.
I'm looking at you, like while you're talking, half focusing on what you're saying, half just looking at you. You don't look like any other 71-year-old. Can you stand up for a second?
Sure.
Can you stand up and just take a look? Okay, we're going to compare. I want to compare our arms too. We're having fun with this, okay? So like 30-year-old arms.
And that's pretty good.
You're going to be 71.
71.
71. Amazing.
It's not a New World Order plot to make you lose your appetite for dead bodies. Veganism is everything that the self-titled ruling elites are against. It's a humane, ethical, health-giving, freedom-giving, animal liberation movement. It's about basic decency and respect for life, including our own. It's about doing no harm.
Okay. A lot of fat,
Pretty chewy? And then once I saw people eating raw meat, and I've been hearing stories of vegans quitting veganism and coming out the other end eating raw meat, I just decided to give it a go, and here I am eating it, and if I'm alive tomorrow, well, there you go.
There's more videos now of people like eating raw meat and like they're acting like they enjoy it, feel like they're eating like goat liver, and they're like, oh yeah, it goes down pretty good. And they're saying that like parasites are good for you, that you should have parasite, that like those little monsters with the teeth, if you see them up close, those are your friends.
Tapeworms, like, you should have tapeworm.
Yeah.
Stuck inside you at all times.
You should have tapeworms over for dinner every night because they help you eat the food. And you can go to sleep resting easy that you got Nessie the Loch Ness Monster swimming around in your guts.
Yeah, how could they possibly justify that? Like, what kind of stuff are they doing and saying?
It's like the nicknaming veganism like the New World Order diet.
Some are burned alive in the scalding tank that is used for hair removal. At a fraction of their natural lifespan, they're shipped to slaughter. Most hamburger in this country comes from spent dairy cows.
Anyway, so like I said, people that say that our teeth are made for eating this one's mine, Rusty. They say our teeth are made for eating plants. That's bullshit. We have pointy teeth, and these front ones are perfect for taking a nice bite-sized piece of meat, you know?
If you look at a chart of your average carnivore, your average omnivore, herbivore, and frugivore, you'll find that we fall completely. Every organ in our body is that of an herbivore, frugivore, not of an omnivore or carnivore.
We have 2 hands and 2 feet, and we walk erect. All of the carnivores have 4 feet and perform their locomotion using all 4s. Tails. Carnivores have tails. Humans do not. Tongues. Only the truly carnivorous animals have rasping, rough tongues. All other creatures have smooth tongues. Claws.
A lion's claws are like razors.
Our lack of claws makes ripping skin or tough flesh extremely difficult. We possess much weaker, flat fingernails instead. Opposable thumbs. Our opposable thumbs make us extremely well equipped to collect a meal of fruit in a matter of a few seconds. Most people find the process effortless. All we have to do is pick it. The claws of carnivores allow them to catch their prey in a matter of seconds as well. We could no more catch and rip the skin or tough flesh of a deer or antelope than a lion could pick mangoes or bananas. Births. Humans usually have children one at a time. Carnivores typically give birth to litters. Colon formation. Our convoluted colons are quite different in design from the smooth colons of carnivorous animals. Intestinal length. Our intestinal tract measures roughly 12 times the length of our torsos, about 30 feet. This allows for the slow absorption of sugars and other waterborne nutrients from fruit. In contrast, the digestive tract of a carnivore is only 3 times the length of its torso. This is necessary to avoid rotting or decomposition of flesh inside the animal. The carnivore depends upon highly acidic secretions to facilitate rapid digestion and absorption in its very short tube. Still, the putrefaction of proteins and the rancidity of fats is evident in their feces. Mammary glands. The multiple teats on the abdomens of carnivores do not coincide with the pair of mammary glands on the chest of humans. Sleep. Humans spend roughly 2/3 of every 24-hour cycle actively awake. Carnivores typically sleep and rest from 18 to 20 hours per day, and sometimes more. Microbial tolerance. Most carnivores can digest microbes that would be deadly for humans, such as those that cause botulism. Perspiration. Humans sweat from pores on their entire body. Carnivores sweat from the tongue only. Vision. Our sense of vision responds to the full spectrum of color, making it possible to distinguish ripe from unripe fruit at a distance. Meat eaters do not typically see in full color. Drinking. Should we need to drink water, we can suck it with our lips, but we cannot lap it up. Carnivores' tongues protrude outward so they can lap water when they need to drink. Vitamin C. Carnivores manufacture their own vitamin C. For us, vitamin C is an essential nutrient that we must get from our food. Jaw movement. Our ability to grind our food is unique to plant eaters. Meat eaters have no lateral movement in their jaws. Teeth. The molars of carnivores are pointed and sharp. Ours are primarily flat for mashing food. Our quote-unquote canine teeth bear no resemblance to true fangs, nor do we have a mouth full of them, as a true carnivore does. Tolerance for fat. We do not handle more than small quantities of fat well. Meat eaters thrive on a high-fat diet. Saliva and urine pH. All of the plant-eating creatures, including healthy humans, maintain alkaline saliva and urine most of the time. The saliva and urine of meat-eating animals, however, is highly acidic. Stomach acid pH. The pH level of the hydrochloric acid that humans produce in their stomachs generally ranges about 3 to 4 or higher, but can go as low as 2.0. 0 equaling the most acidic, 7 equaling neutral, and 14 being the most alkaline. The stomach acid of cats and other meat eaters can be in the 1 range and usually runs in the 2s. Because the pH scale is logarithmic, this means the stomach acid of a carnivore is at least 10 times stronger than that of a human and can be 100 or even 1,000 times stronger. Uricase. True carnivores secrete an enzyme called uricase to metabolize the uric acid in flesh. We secrete none, and so must neutralize this strong acid with our own alkaline minerals, primarily calcium. The resulting calcium urate crystals are one of the many pathogens of meat eating, in this case giving rise to or contributing to gout, arthritis, rheumatism, and bursitis. Cleanliness. We are the most particular of all creatures about the cleanliness of our food. Carnivores are the least picky, and will eat dirt, bugs, organic debris, and other items along with their food. Natural appetite. I saved this one for last, because this should say it all. Our mouths water at the sight and smells of the produce market. These are living foods, the source of our sustenance. But the smell of animals usually puts us off. Carnivores' mouths water at the sight of prey, and they react to the smell of animals as though they sense food. Our anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, and psychology all indicate that we are not carnivores. To say that carnivores eat carnage or flesh does not accurately portray such creatures. Animals that live on other animals usually eat raw meat, straight from the carcass, with relish. Carnivores consume most of the animals, not merely the flesh, eating the muscle meat as well as the organs, and lapping up the warm, fresh blood and other bodily fluids with gusto. They delight in the guts and their partially digested contents. They even crush, split, and eat the smaller bones, and their marrow and gristle. Most of us love animals as fellow creatures on Earth. We do not salivate at the idea of crushing the life out of a rabbit with our bare hands and teeth, and the thought of eating one in a freshly killed state is repulsive.
Oh, I guess this is full of maggots or anything.
We certainly do not enjoy chewing on bones,
It's so squidgy.
gristle, entrails, chunks of raw fat and flesh, and the hair and vermin that inevitably accompany them. We cannot imagine slurping hot blood, getting it all over our faces, hands, and bodies. These behaviors are alien to our natural disposition and are actually sickening.
So strange. We'll rub it.
So if you look at your pet cat and aren't too enticed, that's alright. It's alright. You were never designed to eat them in the first place. Feel free to go down to your local produce market, enjoy the sights and smells, and pick yourself some whole, fresh, ripe, raw, delicious fruits and vegetables.
Well, we know from the largest forward-looking study on diet and cancer ever performed by humanity, the incidence of all cancers combined lower among vegetarians than meat eaters, especially some of the fastest growing tumors like lymphomas and leukemias. And for that, the worst meat was actually poultry, chicken, up to triple the rates for every 50 grams of poultry consumption. A quarter of a chicken breast, triple your risk. Okay, but the link between meat and cancer is such that even the Journal of Meat Science last year asked, should we become vegetarians? Or they said, can we make meat safer? There's a bunch of additives, for example, that can suppress the toxic effects of the blood-based iron, the heme iron found in meat. They fear that if the National Cancer Institute recommendations to reduce meat consumption were adhered to, sure, cancer incidence may be reduced, but farmers in the meat industry would suffer important economic problems. Now, for those of us more concerned about the suffering caused by the meat industry rather than the suffering of the meat industry, what happens if you put cancer on a vegan diet? Well, the Pritikin Research Foundation just completed this elegant series of experiments which I want to spend a bit of time on. Simple experiments. They put people on different diets, draw their blood, and then drip their blood on cancer cells growing in a petri dish, and just stood back to see whose blood was better at suppressing cancer growth. They're the ones that published that study showing that the blood of those on a vegan diet was dramatically less hospitable to cancer. Now, even the blood of those on a standard American diet fights cancer. I mean, if it didn't, everybody'd be dead, right? It's just that the blood of those eating vegan fights about 8 times better. The blood of those on a standard American diet suppresses cancer growth by about 9%. You put people on a plant-based diet for a year, though, and their blood just tears it up. Right? The blood circulating through the bodies of vegans has nearly 8 times the stopping power when it comes to cancer cell growth.
So no matter what the news says, and no matter what stupid hoaxes are out there, I'm not going to fall for that stuff, and I really hope that other people don't fall for it.
A lot of the people that are buying into this lie are like I guess you should call them the neo-pagans. The ones that want to be like their ancestors were, which I think is cool. They want to be warriors, but they don't actually do any of the cool stuff, They don't do they're not into metal work or building a log cabin. They don't even freaking play the harp or play the bagpipes, but they eat pork chops. They got that down pretty good. If you really want to be a warrior, then don't make pigs, cows, and chickens and other animals your adversaries. Then fight the real enemy. Fight evil and protect the innocent. Our ancestors weren't great because they ate animals. They were great because they were defiant and chivalrous and heroic. It's not a New World Order plot to make you lose your appetite for dead bodies. Veganism is everything that the self-titled ruling elites are against. It's a humane, ethical, health-giving, freedom-giving, animal liberation movement. It's about basic decency and respect for life, including our